So the video we're doing today is going to be talking about central angles and arc measures for our circles here. So a central angle is going to be an angle with its vertex at the center of the circle. And its two sides are going to be radii, or two radius. The sum of all central angles in a circle, they're all going to add up to 360 degrees. Okay? So, for example, we have in our picture over here, a central angle would be angle A, B, C. And the B does have to go in the middle since the B is our center. It's where the vertex is. So that's why the B goes in the middle. Now the degree of the arc formed by the endpoints of a central angle. So now we're actually looking at this part right here. So formed by the endpoints of the central angle, that is going to be equal to the degree of the central angle. So let me erase all of this mess over here. So if we're trying to find the measure of arc AC, which would be this arc right here, look at the degree of the angle. So we know that angle ABC is 84 degrees, so therefore the measure of arc AC is going to be 84 degrees. We also have this really big arc, or the rest of the circle, and that's indicated over here by measure ADC. As you can see, it starts here at A, goes all the way to point D, and all the way to point C. That would be arc ADC. And then to find the measure of that, we can just do 360, since that's the total of a circle, and subtract that from 84, the smaller central angle. And when you do that, you're going to end up getting 276 degrees. Moving on to our first example here. We're going to find all of these missing measures, knowing what we know about central angles and arc measures. So first they want us to find angle UXV. So that would be right here, UXV. So the way we're going to go about finding this one is we actually need to identify some of our other angles over here. So we know that the degree of the angle will match the degree of the arc. So therefore TU, we know that's going to be 87. And then over here with SW, the measure of the arc is going to be the same as the measure of the angle. So right here, I'm going to have 72. So let me erase this circle right here. So now we can find the measure of angle UXV, because if you actually look at them carefully, these form vertical angles. And if you remember, vertical angles are always going to be congruent, so therefore this angle has a measure of 72. So I'm going to go write that down over here. 72 degrees. Now let's find all of our arcs here. So let's look for the measure of arc ST. So I'm going to erase this giant yellow line, because now we are looking at arc ST, which is this little guy right here. So one thing to make note of is this whole top of the circle, that is a semicircle here, and that means it's going to add up to 180. So we can go ahead and for ST, just do 180 minus 72 minus 87. And then that's going to tell us what the measure of arc ST will be. And you're going to actually end up getting 21 degrees. So now, moving on, let's look at arc WV. So let me erase this giant semicircle here. And I'll go ahead and put 21 right here. I'm trying to fill this in as we go. That is 72. So arc WV, that's going to be this one right here. Another thing we can do is, because, like we said, we know that this is going to be 72, the angle and the arc are going to be exactly the same, and this forms another semicircle. So for this one, we can actually just do 180, in this case, minus 72. And then for that, we're going to get WV equals 108. Moving on to TW here. I'm going to erase that. TW is actually this whole arc right here. We're actually going to cut through S as well. So for this one, we actually already have the two smaller arcs identified, so we just need to add them together. So you're going to do 21 plus 72, and you're actually going to end up getting 93 degrees. So now I'm going to erase these circles here, because we know what that total arc is. And last but not least, we need to find the measure of arc TVW. So starting at T, I'm going to start at T, and go all the way to V, and then all the way to W. It's going to be this really big arc right here. Now for this one, it's actually probably just easier to take these two smaller guys right here and subtract them from 360. It's actually probably much easier to do that. So what I'm going to do is 360 minus 21 minus 72. And the number that you are going to end up getting is 267 degrees. So now go ahead and skip down to number 5 here. So with this one, we need to find the missing values or measures. So this one, we're actually only just going to be looking for the letter X. So what we're going to do, this is where our X is, and they also gave us this 26 right here. One thing to make note of here is the 26 degrees and the 5x minus 26. These actually all fall within a semicircle here. So one thing that you could do is 15x minus 26 plus 26 equals 180. Or you could also just solve for what this arc is going to be by doing 180 minus 26. And you actually would just end up getting an arc measure of 154. So you also could just do 15x minus 26 equals 154. You got a few options here. So I'm going to go ahead and go with that because it's shorter. So let's see, we've got 15x, add the 26 to both sides, and you're actually going to end up with 180, just like we would have done if we had canceled these up here. And then divide 15 from both sides, and you're going to get x is equal to 12. So that's the final answer for that guy right there. Now let's look at number 7. We need to find our x and then use that x to find all of the other missing measures. So look carefully. These arcs right here, let me do that. Notice that they are actually exactly the same because it's being cut by these two diameters. Because of those two diameters cutting through, they're actually going to be exactly the same. They'll be congruent. So go ahead and set them equal. So you're going to have 10x minus 22 equals 8x plus 12. So I like to keep my numbers positive, so I'm going to subtract 8x, and then get 2x over here. Add the 22 to both sides, so now you're going to end up getting 34. And lastly, divide both sides by 2, and x is equal to 17. So I'm going to go over here, put x equals 17. Now let's use that to find all the missing measures. So first I need to find the measure of AD, which would be this one over here. So just go ahead and plug in x. So 8 times 17 plus 12. Do the math for that, and you should end up getting 148 degrees. So over here, 148. Put a degree symbol. Now for CD, that's actually going to be this smaller arc down here. So one thing to make note of is the 8x plus 12 and the CD. These make a semicircle. So now that we know what arc AD is, I'm just going to do 180 minus arc AD, which is 148. And that's going to tell me the measure of CD, which is going to end up being 32. So CD is going to be 32. And now, let me erase all this commotion we got going on over here. So now we need to find the measure of arc BDC. So we're going to start at B, go all the way to D, and then go to C. We're looking at this wide arc right here. So let me actually fill in some of the gaps. So we know that AD is going to be 148. We also know that CD is 32. And since AB is directly across from the CD, we should safely assume these are going to be vertical angles, so the arcs are also going to be congruent. So up here at AB, that's also going to be 32. So then to find BDC, go ahead and do 148 plus 32 plus 32. Add all that together, and you're going to get 212. So, right here, 212 degrees. Alright, now moving on to number 9 here. So we need to find the measure of angle, or not of angle, but of the letter X, which is given in all 3 of these expressions here. Now, one thing we need to make note of is we know that this angle right here is 90 degrees. So that means this arc is going to be 90 degrees. So therefore the rest of the arc, this whole giant arc, is going to be 270. That's going to be important because we actually need to take all 3 of our expressions, add them together, and set them equal to 270. So now I'm going to go over here and have 8x plus 21x minus 12 plus 10x plus 9 equals 270. Combine all of your like terms and you're going to end up getting 39x minus 3. That's going to be equal to 270. So keep going, you're going to get 39x equals 273. And then divide both sides by 39. You're going to get x is equal to 7. So put that right there. Now let's find all of our arc measures here. So let me erase all of this. We already know that Vy is going to be 90. So now we can try to find all the other ones. So Wx, that's going to be this big one right here. So for that, we just need to plug in 7. So 21 times 7 minus 12. Solve for that, and you're going to get 135. So there's the first one. Now to find YW, that's actually going to be this, where is it? There it is. So YW is going to be that arc going right there. Now it should say YVW to make it more clear, but it is going to be this arc right here. So the way we go about solving for this one is we're going to take the 90 that we already have, and do 90 plus, and then WV right here. And so that would be 8 times 7. So 90 plus 56, and we're going to end up getting 146. So put that right there. Now we need to find Yx, which is going to be this arc down here. That's pretty easy. Just need to plug in 7. So I can go up here. So 10 times 7 plus 9. Do the math for that, and you're going to end up getting 79. And now last but not least, we need to find Vxw. So let's follow along. We're going to start at V. Go all the way to X. Actually, I went the wrong way. Shame on me. We actually have to go this way. V to X, then to W. Just follow the letters in order. That's how you know. Now let's pretty much the entire circle except for the 8x right there. So my advice is just do 360 minus 8 times x, which would be 7. So 360 minus 56, you're going to end up getting 304. And that's all there is to it.